iZombie season finale, Blaine's World. Blaine's World. Okay, I couldn't help do that. When I first saw the title, I did that too. But I love this episode. I thought it was a great season finale. I'm really excited for season two. I think this episode had a lot of interesting moments in it that were pretty big twists. Like there were even at the very end of the episode, we had a pretty big twist, which I know what she said at the end, but we still don't really know exactly how things are gonna play out in the next season. But I think the last 10 minutes were just insane. Like, just everything that happened in this episode was pretty intense. It was like, all right, we have this happening, we have that happening, we got, you know, the end of the case from, well, I guess the continuation of the case from the last episode. It just went into sort of, instead of looking for this killer, now we're looking for this killer. And that's kind of, where things started off as a twist for me. And there was the girl that called the police at the end of the last episode. She actually died. I was really surprised by that because one of my speculations was she was attacked by her friend and, turned into a zombie or something like that. It just got incredibly dark outside. But my thing was like, maybe she's immune. Maybe she will slowly turn into a zombie. She won't actually be dead, and we'll get to see that slow transformation. And it ended up that she actually died, and it did make the one character a lot more interesting, like her friend, because it wasn't, um, it wasn't like they were turned into zombies or anything, which still would have been amazing, obviously, if she lived. I think it still would have been more entertaining overall because there would be a new character involved. But it did make his character specifically more interesting because we got to see a character who actually did kill, two of his own friends. Like, one person died because, the guy was a zombie, he came back and killed her. But he killed two of his friends so that he could get all this money. And then, he goes through all this stuff. And he's, obviously he's going to jail. But, like, when he was at the station, he was talking about, like, yeah, we hit a guy and we were smoking weed and this and that. And it's like, that that doesn't even remotely begin to compare to you just killed two people, though. Like, but that's still what he did because he didn't want to go to jail for the weed and hitting the guy and stuff. So it's like not even relatively close. But it did make his character more interesting, and of course, him having this information after he finally got busted did lead to them kind of outing Max Rager. And we find out that there's this new energy drink, Super Max, which is going to be even more devastating, I guess. I don't know, it can make people turn into zombies even faster. Um, Maybe it'll be a bit more concentrated so they won't kind of lose control like they did before, and um, it'll be the new component where it's like, we'll have you get rid of the craving brains, portion of the zombie side effect, and you'll just kind of be immortal, basically. I mean, you still have the white hair and go super pale, but you basically be immortal outside of headshots. So, there are a lot of different things dropped in this episode, and I don't know how big the Supermax stuff is going to be in the next episode or in the next season, but with Max Rager being outed, which was also a really nice little tiny itty bitty little twist that they threw in at the end, where all the reporters were around the guy, and he's like, of course, pushing things off like zombies, like all this crazy stuff. He's a zombie. I didn't know that. I didn't think that that guy was a zombie. I figured he definitely knows about zombies because obviously he works for Max Rager. He knows what's going on. I didn't think that he was a zombie himself though, but he had like the little gray streak in his hair and stuff, and they kind of just threw that in at the end, like he has that gray streak coming in because he's a zombie. So I thought that was cool. It was a nice little touch to show that this guy isn't just involved in everything. He's not just the head of Max Rager and he's causing all these incidents. He is a zombie himself, and I don't know if that happened because of Max Rager or if he was turned. Um, Maybe he had like the initial form of Utopium mixed with Max Rager or whatever, and he found out that that turned him into a zombie because he died after he had it or something, and he still lived, and he's ever since then maybe been trying to make this product worldwide for whatever reason. I still, that's one of the big, I think the biggest question now is like, why are they doing this? Because it just turns people into zombies. He mentions that they're marketing it, or they're going to try to market it at least right now, but before that you think it would just cause way too much collateral damage. It's like, just have people volunteer to do that type of stuff instead of just putting it out there and have people like go crazy and kill a dozen people and stuff like that, where they turn into zombies and rage out on stuff on people. So there's still a big question as to why he did it the way he did it, when I feel like he could have easily done it without the big company, and like he could have done the company thing and then hid that portion, which they're obviously still hiding. But they could, I feel like they could have hid that portion so much better instead of having all these incidents that lead to Max Rager, and that's how Liv got there in the first episode. So different stuff that happens, and there's still some big questions there. And he, of course, knows that Liv is a zombie. I'm guessing he knew that when he first saw her, actually. So it's kind of interesting to know that he knows exactly what's going on. And the guy who was his like hitman, basically, he did go back to them before he went to Liv's place, and he killed the old scientist. So we got to meet the new scientist and stuff, and he's going to be working on uh, not exactly curing zombieism, but curing the eat brains side of things. So I think Max Rager is definitely going to be a huge deal in the next season. But I'm really excited for that, because that's what I was hoping for with the assassin. And then he kind of got killed off, but they still gave us like the big Max Rager portion where it did connect that guy back to Max Rager. So we're going to get them in season 2, and I think that's going to be really great. The one thing that we didn't get to see was Peyton in this episode. I was surprised by that. I was sort of surprised, I guess, and at the same time I wasn't, because I was kind of expecting them not to put her in, because it would kind of be a quick little portion. They couldn't spend too much time on it because it's, of course, the finale, so they'd have to focus on obviously setting up season 2 here. This is happening, that's happening. And with Peyton, it's like, I feel like it would be weird, considering she took off. It would be kind of weird if it was completely resolved, just in the very next episode. So, that's just completely up in air. That's like one of the biggest questions right now too. Like, is she gonna be okay? Is she gonna tell other people that they're zombies? What exactly is gonna happen? So she's kind of missing. I thought we were gonna see her at one point when Liv and Robbie were on the phone, and Robbie said that he didn't see her. Just the way he said it, it seemed like he was lying and that she would actually be in the room, but she wasn't. So she wasn't in the episode. So we still have to wait till season 2 to see how all that stuff plays out. Where she's going, or where she is right now, and everything like that. So still excited to see that. I'm very curious as to whether or not things are gonna work with the characters. Because if she knows, she knows, knowing Liv is a zombie, she's probably gonna have questions like, "Does anyone else know?" And then it would, kind of be like, "Well, Robbie knows," and of course now Major as well. So it could work together now that so many people know. But at the same time, she probably feel the same way as Major did, where it's like, all this stuff was going on, especially with Major though, because obviously he was involved. A little bit different, and we got to actually see his reaction in this one after probably the coolest scene in the entire season, where he actually escapes, and they did some pretty graphic stuff in this episode, and I love the way they did it, because they did like CW censoring, but they had the scene in the very beginning when Blaine had him in the freezer, and they like wheeled in one of the kids, and they like spun him around on the hook, and the brain was just like completely open. I thought that looked really gross, and like they have those moments where they just do good effects, like good practical effects. That was definitely one of them. All the CW censoring that came in during Major's like Rambo mode, and he's like blowing brains off, and it's like, especially the one time when he was I can't remember who it was he shot exactly, but he had the gun pointed right at their head, and they turned the camera like super fast, and blood like shot across the wall. And it was like, of course they have to censor that because this is CW, but it was still great. It was still an awesome scene for him. He went full on zombie hunter mode, and it was definitely amazing. Like, he was super pissed. He had to set the body on fire, and he actually peed on the floor to make the guy slip. So he escapes. He gets all his weapons. He gets the grenade and the shotgun, and he goes in, and he's just, destroying the place. And I think my favorite part was the fact that he got the Candyman, because that was like, that was his thing. And now I was really excited that they kind of saved him for last, and it was like he got to take him down, and it was just like, and it was in a cool way too, because he's, locked in the room, and he's just like, walk away from this, and he just drops a grenade. Which I think would have totally killed him too, because he dropped it at the door, and that's where he was. I don't think that door was that tough, but TV stuff, it doesn't matter. It was still an awesome scene. And then, of course, right after that, he gets stabbed, and I was freaked out that he would die. I was thinking, like, it wouldn't make sense to kill him off. It seems like he'd be a regular character, but you never really know. That could easily happen in shows. But we definitely got, aside from that amazing scene, we got like a great twist where he does get turned into a zombie, but Liv does save him. She does turn him back human. At least we have to assume that, because she uses the last two bits of the cure, which we don't really know if they work. She used one on Blaine, which I kind of wish she just flat out killed him, to be totally honest. If it was like, him talking about how he has the list of all the different people and stuff, and I was really hoping she'd be like, I'll just find the list or something like that, because, of course he didn't memorize it. And I was thinking, like, my girlfriend, we were both watching it, and she's always, like, super murdery when it comes to bad characters, although she's, like, one of the nicest people. But it's always like, just shoot the villain and stuff. But I was thinking that too, though, because I was like, he's just such a bad character. It's like, it's hard not to really just want Liv to take him down. And she had a great scene. The fact that she even found him and shot him to begin with, I thought was pretty hardcore for her, because she, of course, doesn't really do stuff like that. So it was definitely awesome. I don't know if that was really Liv, or if, that did kind of result from the brain cells she had. But either way, I thought it was a cool scene, and I was hoping, I was like, she just said like a cool line, like, I'll just find the list of the people then, and then just shot him. That would have been an amazing scene. But instead, we're still going to have Blaine, but he is human. He was eating whatever he was eating. It was some sort of wrap. It looked like a shawarma, but it looked like it was like beans and stuff on the inside. But he was eating that, and he was like, like he could actually taste it. So he is actually human. We don't know how long that's going to last. It could be like, it lasts the entire season, and then him and Major end up turning back into zombies or something like that. But for now, they're both cured. Blaine has, he doesn't have his people anymore. And, Liv did have a cool line after she stabbed him, and she was like, him talking about making more of a crew, and she's like, make more now, bitch. So definitely a cool line from her, a cool moment. And so he's human. Major is human, and now he knows everything that's going on. He, kind of had his moment with Liv where he's like, you kind of saved me, and is it because you saved me because of what you wanted, or because of what you thought I wanted? So I love that moment, because it was like he did have the crappy reaction that she kind of thought, and I feel like it was it would have been better if she told him much earlier on. And she, like, they both had really good points. Like, she didn't want to doom him to a life of just kind of nothingness, pretty much, and obviously he didn't want to be a zombie after everything that he'd gone through. So he had his little moment, but he's going to be human in the next season. He'll know everything. Might cause tension between him and Ravi, because I'm sure they're going to talk about all that stuff. So may or may not be a good relationship between the two of them. And then, of course, we have Suzuki at the end of the episode. He goes in, he takes, does everything to set up a scene, and he puts Blaine's name there. I love the fact that they put Blaine's last name in, but we didn't actually get to see what it was. It the way things blew up, and it just says Blaine and then D something. So we got that, and then of course we also got the Candyman with the shoes on. So now Clive is gonna have Major tested for like gun residue, and he's gonna figure out like, this is really freaking weird. Like, Suzuki said everything was fine, and then he ends up dead, which I think that alone should cause a lot of questions. Like, he called in and said, oh, everything's fine, just firecrackers. And then suddenly he's dead. Like, exactly where people thought things were happening, suddenly all this stuff just happened, and the whole place blew up. So that in itself, I feel like, should cause a lot of questions for them. But Clive is gonna get a bit of a lead. Of course, they have Blaine's name, not his last name, but they now have Blaine at least. And then, of course, Liv's brother, I can't think of his name at all, because we've heard it like 3 or 4 times. But he gets hit, and so now he needs blood, and she's like, she's not going to give him her blood, because, of course, he'd become a zombie. So I don't know how things are going to start up in this next season. Of course, I highly doubt she's going to just tell her mom, like, hey, I'm a zombie. I don't want him to be one. So I doubt that'll happen. But I'm excited for season 2. I think this was a great finale. I do wish certain things were a little different. I would have loved it if the girl did survive and she did become a regular cast member. It would also be really weird because I mentioned this before. She's on Arrow, and I don't think it's gonna matter too much considering where Arrow is right now. But maybe that is why, I don't really know. But I still think it would have been cool if she was immune, or even if she became a zombie and kind of just became a new zombie in the series. But things still worked out in an amazing way. Love the crazy shootout. I actually like the music too. It was like the music that went with Major's sort of shootout moment. They were kind of a contrast. Like the music was, I don't want to say upbeat, but it wasn't exactly like it's a shootout or anything like guitars or anything like that. It was kind of like low, almost soft tone style music, and it still worked though. It just went really well, and it was him just like he had his chance to leave, and it was like, no, he went straight to his car, he got the guns, and he just took all of them down, and, just had a cool moment. Like, when he dropped the grenade, that's probably my favorite moment, because it was like, he got the Candyman, and it was just like, and that was it, and it was just a really great moment for his character, and then, of course, he gets stabbed, and I was like, crap, I hope he doesn't die here. But, great moments. We got Max Rager coming up, Super Max now, which, who knows. The new scientists, they're actually working on stopping the whole wanting zombie brains thing. The head of Max Rager is a zombie himself. Maybe his meditation stuff is so that he doesn't eat people's brains. I don't know. Um, Peyton's still in the wind. Technically, still don't know if the cure worked that Robbie did on the rat, and Blaine so far is fine, and as well as Major, but we still technically don't know. And then just, of course, Major and him knowing, the secrets. It's just crazy. But I love this finale. Great action, great setup for season 2. I think, especially the stuff with Clive and him getting a bit deeper into everything that's going on, and the stuff with Major. I don't know if he's actually gonna bust Major for that, but like I said, the stuff with Suzuki calling in the fact that everything was fine, and then the next morning the place is, a complete disaster. It's all messed up and, you know, blown up. That should probably cause some questions in itself. So we'll definitely see. Blaine's name is up there, so the cops have that. Clive has Major. Big questions. All types of different stuff coming up. So I'm excited for season 2, which we are fortunately getting. They put it at the end that we are getting a season 2, so I was really excited for that because I hadn't actually looked anything up. But I loved the first season. I'm really glad I checked the show out because initially I had no interest, but I was glad I watched that first episode because I definitely loved this season. Of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode as well as this season in general. Favorite parts, your least favorite parts, what you guys expect for season 2, all that stuff. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.